Welcome back. If you're looking for a creative and fun learning activity for your family, here's one for you, and it's perfect for wintertime. Joining us today to give a demonstration is Dominic Roberta from the Michigan Science Center. So you have a few supplies out, but before we get to the demonstrations, I do want to talk about the Michigan Science Center. There's actually going to be a new exhibit coming at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, so tomorrow's the last day for our current exhibit for our sort of science hall area, which is called Towers of Tomorrow. It's built by a Lego master builder. It's super cool, but starting on January 30th, we're going to have our Above and Beyond exhibit, which is all about space and air travel. There's even a bird simulator. It's super, super fun, teaching kids all about sort of aerodynamics and such.
And I actually saw the press release for that. It looks so cool. Like, I'm going to have to go to the exhibit and check it out. So that's going to be starting at the end of the month. But for those who, you know, it might be hard for them to get to the Michigan Science Center, you guys actually have like traveling exhibits kind of that you perform, right?
Yeah. So when people want to come on January 30th, it's going to be a great start for that new exhibit. But we also love booking our traveling science outreach programs during the season. Especially, we have this one called Frostology. We can go do it in a school auditorium or a gymnasium or big events even. And so we have a couple of cool demos here that kind of show it off with the star of the show, which is liquid nitrogen.
So much fun. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started with the first experiment. And you said you have liquid nitrogen right here. We have, you know, a bucket. So walk us through the process. Like, what exactly are we going to be doing?
Yeah, so liquid nitrogen is incredibly cold. It can really only exist as a liquid at negative 321 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, you know, it gets cold in Michigan, but not that cold.
Right.
And so I got to keep it in my thermos here. And so it will rapidly boil once it is exposed to just anything warmer, like the studio air that we're in here.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and pour some into my jug here. And we're going to see sort of what happens when we expose it to water, which tends to have a lot more heat in it than the air would due to its specific heat.
So there's just a little bit of water at the bottom of this.
Pretty much, yeah, just a little bit of water. And so
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and pour some in. If you take a step
I'm going to step back so you can go ahead and do that.
Well, maximum safety here.
We're not going to get these splashes.
However, if you don't throw your gloves
Ooh.
on, I'm going to let you be a part of this experiment too. So if you can come by now, grab that handle and give it a little bit of a shake back and forth.
Oh my gosh, it looks like a crazy cloud going on.
There you go. Yeah, give it a little gusto. There it is. Perfect. So we
so neat.
are able to create our own little studio here in Cloud. I was going to say, we can actually control the weather a bit for the studio here today.
Oh, that is so neat. So yeah, it depends on how fast you actually shake it, like how high it goes.
Oh yeah, and how warm the water is. If I used really hot water, it might get to the point where it splash a bit too much in the studio.
This is a really neat experiment. So you would go ahead and like do this for the for like students at classrooms, or like how could you book something if someone wants this demonstration to be at their location?
Yeah, so if they call and they reach out to our outreach coordinator, we're able to do our traveling science program and come to an auditorium or a gymnasium or even a larger festival. We do tons of festivals throughout the year as well on top of the stage, and this is just one of the demos we do for there, just to observe liquid nitrogen even, and we also run experiments with it too.
Very cool. I mean, we love talking and learning about science, and you actually have another experiment with you today, right? What are we going to be doing? What is this demonstration?
Yeah, so that's a cool way to observe liquid nitrogen, but let me ask you, I need a hypothesis. So I've got this balloon full of regular old air, so what do you think would happen if I poured liquid nitrogen all over it?
I'm thinking it's going to collapse.
It's going to collapse? Let's go ahead and find out. Whenever I ask the kids, they always say, well, it's probably going to explode because they love to see explosions, but let's go ahead and see.
Of course, they love the explosions.
Absolutely. They love the razzle-dazzle.
All right, so let's see if I'm right or not.
So I'm going to pour a bunch in there, and of course I've got my fancy science tongs on me to help mix it around.
Wow.
And we ask them, what do you think is going to happen? And we run our little experiment, test their hypotheses, get them in that scientific mindset until the point where, well, we look at our balloon now that it has been fully covered in.
And it's crunchy. I didn't think it was going to turn crunchy.
Oh yeah, anybody who's left their basketball out overnight and tries to bounce it the next morning knows that when things are elastic and they get super cold, it doesn't really want to bounce or stretch anymore. So you hear that crinkling chip bag, but as it gets re-exposed to the air, you can see that the air inside of it goes from that sort of compressed state back into its normal expanding state. So we've brought it a little back to life here since that collapse.
Wow, that is amazing. I'm sure the kids and even just adults love seeing these experiments.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun for everyone. It's fun for me, especially doing it on stage, and all of our other educators who get a chance to do it. So Frostology is one of our favorite programs to do, especially in this season for anybody looking to book a kind of live science demonstration with even more demos and experiments than they see here.
And it's perfect because you want indoor activities because it is so cold. So thank you so much for showing us these demonstrations. It was a joy having you here this morning.